When we connect with someone, we're to grow together. And just make sure that this is someone that you can see in your life to grow with and that you guys can really become a great team together, prospering with whatever it is that you both desire, and to make sure that each of you meet your full potential. Someone who has your back, who's supportive of you, someone that cares and genuinely care for you.
Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, and today Veronica Williams joins us. Veronica co-founded the veteran-owned Alliance Seminars Coaching faith-based organisation. She leverages her life experiences to provide coaching services, motivational speaking, and certified workshops. Alliance Seminars Coaching shares strategies and skills to strengthen personal and professional relationships through collaboration. Veronica is dedicated to equipping today's women for tomorrow's challenges. She empowers single and married women through workshops, retreats, conferences, and roundtables. She connects with others through her life journey of overcoming various life encounters. You can learn more about Veronica and Alliance Seminars at www.allianceseminars.org. Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you for having me, Magic Barclay. Good to be here.
Look, it's so good to have you here. Now, tell us a little bit about these life experiences. What's given you such a wealth of knowledge?
Well, my niche is relationships. And so I've been married for 24 years. I've done some time-tested coaching and Bible studies with other couples about relationships. And just being a woman in general has allowed me to share my experiences. I have many, but one is I had a challenge with the loss of a baby, which is a lot of women go through that and they're silent about it, or they grieve silently because no one around them understands. And then there's with the relationships, lots of couples have concerns in their marriages and in their singleness when it comes to dating and being in a relationship.
Yes, that's a very common struggle, and I'm so glad that you're helping people with that. Now, listen, my first question is around health, and I ask all of my guests the same questions. Everyone gives me such different answers. I'm really excited about yours. And the question is, what can your expertise do to accelerate health, not just physical health, but also emotional and spiritual health?
Yes, I can accelerate the spiritual and emotional health by sharing time tested actions that can help others tap into sources that can help them live a balanced life.
So, what does a balanced life look like?
Well, what I have are 3 tips that create wealth for a healthy life, which is personal, financial, or emotional. And 3 of the tips that I give that can create an emotional wealth are consistently exercise with self care, consistently reassess where you are and what it takes to get where you want to go, and carefully surround yourself with positive accountability partners who have your best interest in mind.
So that gets us to our next point, which is opening the realm of wealth. I guess many women have not missed the boat. That's not the right languaging here, but we put our financial wealth and I guess even our personal wealth behind the needs of others while we're raising families and things. What would be your top 3 tips to creating wealth for women who, may have been homemakers for a certain period of time, or, may have just taken small jobs here and there just to keep the food on the table. How can women move forward beyond their relationships and create wealth?
I think number one, love yourself first. Discover that you are valuable and make sure that you're taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically. From a financial standpoint, getting with a financial advisor to assist you to get a better understanding of what it takes financially for you to have, I want to say, a healthy financial status rather than, because it's not all about the wealth, but I think to have a financial healthy status where you're able to maintain your everyday personal needs and then emotionally, doing what I've mentioned before, which is the self-care aspect, identifying what is it going to take to get me to a healthy emotional state. And then find people that can hold you accountable. And then if it's something that you like doing, find someone that is doing what you're interested in and reach out to them to see if they would become a mentor to you.
Some great tips there. And our final standard question is around weight loss. So many people struggle with their weight, and we know that stress can be a key factor in that struggle. So, have you ever battled your weight? If so, how did you win that battle? And what can you offer the listeners who might be going around this that may be affecting their relationships?
Yes, I have battled my weight. And so when you're doing that, you just have to discover what are the triggers to just identify those core problems behind whatever the stress is and create some new helpful habits that can help eliminate. For example, I know someone that said, "Oh, I eat ice cream every night at 10 o'clock. I got to have my vanilla ice cream." But what they don't realize, and then the next day they may complain, "Oh, I'm not feeling really good about my weight." So you have to really figure out, is it really good for me? What else can I do as a substitute of having the vanilla ice cream at 10 o'clock at night? And then what are some other things that I can do to reduce eating so late? So there's a lot of factors in there. There's a lot of really good trainers that provide healthy ways to reduce your weight, and that can help you on that journey. If you join a gym or if you have a personal trainer, they can help you accomplish the weight loss that will make you feel good. But it's not about just losing the weight and feeling good. It's about learning to live and have a healthy eating lifestyle or just a healthy exercise lifestyle and just an overall healthy lifestyle that is going to create healthiness in terms of your personal, emotional, physical, and mental health as well.
Great. And before we go on, Veronica, we love freebies here. So, what can you offer the listeners and where can they find it?
I can offer the listeners a 30-minute coaching session to kind of just tap into something that they would like to discover about themselves. And you may go to Alliance Seminars Coaching on Facebook, or you can go on our website and reach out to me. And it is www.allianceseminars.org. And in the subject line, put Magic Barclay.
Very generous. Thank you. Now, Veronica, let's talk about Alliance Seminars and what you do. What do the listeners need to know? What can they get out of it? Who is it for? What will they expect to change in their lives once they start working with you?
Well, I believe that when a client will work with me, my life experiences will provide the type of coaching services, motivational speaking, and certified workshops that can enhance their life. and then they can discover their passion that will lead to their purpose. Additionally, we share our strategies and skills with equipping women, men, individuals, and organizations on empowering their life with their life as they journey to overcome various life challenges or encounters.
So, what sort of encounters and challenges do your clientele deal with? So, the listeners may be thinking, oh, but I've been through something and I probably can't work with that group. Like they've never seen my problem before.
Right. So, as a master certified life coach, I help individuals from today to move forward, whatever life challenges. My niche is relationships. So, if you have a relationship issue, there's nothing that I haven't heard about and that I can assist you with. But number one, learning how to be the better you, to meet the proper people, or to have a positive outlook on your life. So, whatever the challenges are, living single, a lot of people have a hard time trying to identify red flags, those things that will hinder the relationship to move forward. And then just learning how to really just date, maybe being a friend first, or identifying that maybe this person isn't really someone for me to date. They may not be, but they may be a really good friend if that's where we want it to land. Or how do I learn to move forward in a healthy environment? If someone is coming out of a toxic relationship, how do I even go back into another one without repeating the same toxic things that I've experienced before? So it's all about motivating and encouraging and empowering, as well as equipping individuals to become the better them, the better you. And I like to say, instead of, a lot of people say, oh, I'm looking for Mr. Right, or I'm looking for Mrs. Right. Well, how about just becoming and working on yourself individually to become the right Mr. or the right Mrs. Right? And then putting off positive energy so that you can meet positive people and reduce encountering individuals that may not be meant for you, but they're just a passerby and not really necessary dating material or marriage material.
So, whilst we're creating that relationship with ourselves, what are some things that we're looking for? What are some things that we need to work on?
I think a lot of the issues or concerns that happens in relationships is that people are not authentic. You don't bring your true self. You may send a representative to maybe produce out what you think that other person wants. But I think being you, and that is by being authentic, being honest, being truthful, and learning to communicate even when it may be a difficult subject. When you're entering in relationships that you're moving towards to be a healthy relationship, you have to realize that marriage and any relationship takes vulnerability. So you have to be willing to trust, but more importantly, you have to be willing to know yourself and to be able to learn how to develop a healthy relationship.
And when we're looking for healthy relationships, what should be the foundations? You mentioned earlier, start off as friends, but what else are key indicators that something's going to be a healthy relationship?
I can only give an example. For example, I would say find out the common ground. First of all, the first thing you want to look at in building a relationship with someone is to recognize whether or not they have your same value system. And you can generally know whether you should move forward or not because their ideas or their ideology of thinking may be a little off than yours, and you don't have to fall into that. A lot of times, I think individuals seem to keep down the conflict. They go along with someone else's ideas or thought processes that really they don't believe in. And so therefore you have a head-on collision in the relationship and you realize that it's heading towards a toxic situation. And then that's when you identify this is a red flag and this relationship perhaps is not able to move forward unless we do the proper things in trying to resolve the challenges that we're having by going to a coach, or if they're deeply rooted from past issues and past life trauma, then going to more licensed psychologists, our therapists, our marriage counselors, so that you can really identify those things, work on them so that you can move forward into a healthy relationship with someone.
Fantastic. Now, we've covered a lot today. Is there something we haven't discussed that you think the listeners need to hear?
I just think the listeners may want to know when it comes to relationships, don't rush into it so quickly. Take time to pause, and I call it marinate, but think it through and just identify whether this person has your value system, that they believe in what you believe in, that they're really on a path that you're on, as far as whether it's your spiritual life, your professional life, or where you are mentally and emotionally and physically. Because the bottom line is that when we connect with someone, we're to grow together. And just make sure that this is someone that you can see in your life to grow with, and that you guys can really become a great team together, prospering with whatever it is that you both desire, and to make sure that each of you meet your full potential. Someone who has your back, who's supportive of you, someone that cares and genuinely care for you. And as I mentioned, they really are truthful, honest, and able to be a communicator to talk about all discussions, and learning how not to avoid situations that might be difficult, but learning how to go a little deeper. Think about the types of conversations that you have with individuals. All right, is it just surface talk and it really is leading to nothing? Or is it a deep conversation that is really building both of your characters, and where you guys are both able to help each other grow?
And I just want to add there that communication is key. And don't just look at the verbal communication, but also your body language and your facial communication. There's so much in relationships that can be missed if you're not paying attention. So this isn't, if you're out dating and whatever, this is not the time to be staring at your phone answering questions. Be
Right.
fully present, body, mind, soul, the whole thing.
Exactly. And be able to talk to someone about those openly, about all of those areas, because all of that, what you're really leading to, you really want to get to know the whole person and not the half person. So as you learn to discover to be whole yourself, you're able to pull out those things from the other individual to know whether you are in alignment together and that you guys are on the same path to move forward in the relationship at a gradual pace. It doesn't have to be rushed.
Definitely. Well, this has been a very cool chat. I think we've gotten a lot of gold from you today, Veronica.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And where can people find you? I know you're on Facebook at Alliance Seminars. Where else can people find you?
You can find us at www.allianceseminars.org. And that is one word, allianceseminars.org. I'm also on Speaker Hub. If you go to Speaker Hub and just type in my name, Veronica Williams, you will find me there as well.
Fantastic. Veronica, thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed our chat.
Thank you so much for having me, Najib.
And listeners, thank you for your time. Just a heads up, we will soon be inviting sponsors to A Magical Life Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. And I will be hand selecting those sponsors so that they provide products that you can use. For now, go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health, that's holistic with a W, or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.